Right, what's up, everybody? Facecheck was able to make it through food poisoning and other games and Loco being busy. I got hurt, but week 6 in the books, we got to cover it. Welcome, everyone, to Facecheck week 6 edition. I'm Degon, Zyrene, Dom, and Loco here to break down everything that went down last week, because Dom said he watched every single second of every single match, and he needs to tell everyone why he wants to rip his eyeballs out and yell at people.
Yeah. No, it was. We'll just get into it. We'll see. I have flame for every team individually. Like, these games were just so terrible to watch. I'm pretty sure. Like, I don't know. Like, I wasn't feeling that bad originally. Like, when I first came down with food poisoning, but like over the course of watching the LCS games, I think I got progressively more and more sick until the point where I just needed to be hospitalized for the last 2 days. So. Yeah, I mean, it's really fucking bad out here. Like, I don't know if the teams are just playing TFT or something now, or like they just gave up on the game as much as like the Riot developers or what. But it's pretty fucking bad. Like, it's really fucking sad out here.
Damn, great.
I'm sitting here going like, did Dom just take the extra days to just come up with flame? Like, holy shit.
I mean,
he's just
Where
there like
on this?
seething. He's like, I can't get this out. I don't have face check.
I was in the hospital, right? I passed out, woke up. Like, I woke up in the hospital. So, like, I passed out in the hospital. They gave me, like, IVs. I came back to consciousness, right? The first thing I did is I went on Twitter and I flamed TF Blade. That was literally the first thing. I was within, like, 3 seconds of being, like, conscious again. It was like, all right, let's flame someone. Okay, now I can die.
I think you may have woken up because you hadn't flamed anybody in a while. So your body was just like, this is wrong.
Yeah, you know, everyone needs that will to live, and mine is to flame. So, yep, dude, that's what we're here for.
Okay. A little bit morbid, but do you think if we die nowadays, like they're gonna at our funeral, they're gonna put up our like best tweets and like our best highlights?
Dude, if I died, no one would give a fuck. I realize that. It's like what? That's why I couldn't die yet. I'm like, if I die, it'll be like rest in peace. Somebody will tweet it. Like Team Liquid will tweet it. It'll get like 2,000 likes, and that'll be it.
Oh, Dom, what the fuck? 3 of us will be at your funeral, and we'll be like,
yeah, you guys will be the only 3 people there.
Dom was a great friend, and he also hosted us for a lot of views. We're gonna miss him very much.
Very much.
Yep. Legit, somebody would make a copy pasta of the Mike Young tweet and be like, sorry, I took your life, Dom. You know, still subscribed. But...
Dude, I wonder how many real fans like how many people are gonna stay subscribed after I die. That's the question right there. Those are the real ones.
Just forget. Oh man.
Yeah, dude, you gotta put the memorial sub in there.
Damn. I have a 29-month sub. That's the longest sub I have. What about you guys?
Oh my god, I've got. How do you check? Let's see.
How do you?
It's just top right subscriptions.
How do you check by longest?
It should be in. Is it in order? No.
Dom just has too many to go through individually.
Yeah.
Because I get a lot of I get a lot of like sub gifts like to random streamers I don't watch. So I have like a bunch of fucking subs to like streamers I don't watch at all.
Yeah, mine's 48 months.
Wow, holy shit!
Yeah.
I have 51 month, a 50 month, and a 36 month.
Wow, I thought I beat you guys out with 29, but holy fuck.
Oh hell no, I just like
29. It's like, wait, how long have you been on Twitch? What the fuck? 29 is not that long.
Yeah, the other day I went to like Rivington's stream and I've been subbed to him for 28 months. Shit, dude, how much money have I given him? Like, I forgot about this. Like,
well, this is actually good that I'm looking at this now. Now I can just unsub from all the dead streamers. Let's see.
Well, no, I was asking, who's the person that subbed to you for the longest?
Oh, to me, I have I think I have 3 56-month subscriptions.
Jesus.
Off the top of his head too.
Yeah. No, I know the 3 too. It's Lipton, Teabag, Kaloki, and a guy named Arizem Flow. Those are my 3 longest subs, and they've been there for like 57 months.
Do they get some extra benefit? They get that Snapchat or something? Like,
literally, I just remember their names. That's the benefit. Like, dude, that's all they fucking get.
They get the Soligo treatment. At least he remembers your name. Like, holy shit.
Well, shout out to those 3 guys. Easy fame. That's your 56-month subscription gift. Anyone else?
And Soligo for that win streak.
Yep.
All right. Week 6 was in the books. We had 2 teams go 2-0. That would be Team Liquid and 100 Thieves. We had 2 teams go 0-2, which was Optic and
CLG.
Shit in the bed. And then everyone else went 1-1, kind of trading it, even though we had the comment from Riv, teams are surging from the bottom. What was your overall impression on the week? Let's start with you, Dom, since you watched every single second.
Every single second. I was just surprised at like how bad NA teams are at fucking closing. Like they just have no idea how to win the game. Like it feels like every game it's like, okay, you have a massive lead, it is unthrowable now. Like there's no way you could possibly lose this. And then the second that you think that, they just lose. It's like how? Why? Like why don't you guys just like play the game normally and just like end it like the way you should? I don't know.
Yeah, teams no longer say like when they get behind, they're like, dude, this game, it's still winnable. It's still winnable. They go, no, for them, it's still throwable, dude. It's still throwable for the other team. Like there's a chance that they'll do it. It's just like NA solo queue.
Yep.
No game is unthrowable in NA.
The C9 one pissed me. The C9 win, that pissed me off more than the CLG one, because the CLG one, I kind of felt like they were going to like still throw. I'm like, oh, they have LeBlanc. I don't know. Like LeBlanc is one of the harder champions to close with when you get a lead, because you can't actually just run it down and just like out siege the enemy. You kind of have to like do things like 1-3-1, or you're going to have to like look for pokes or like one shots on the side. And it's just not as easy, especially with the team comp they had. I don't think they had like super good engage, and Power View was engaged fight, but I don't know. I mean, in general, it's just like NA is just, I don't. It feels like we're actually getting worse. Like I don't understand. I don't know if we're playing at the level.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that. Maybe, but my overall impression was that the standings are now looking more and more how I expect them to look, instead of like, you know, teams that are tied with each other. And I'm like, are you really tied with each other? Like, are you really at the same level? Like, I actually feel like the standings are starting to make more and more sense right now. As things are like, I finally feel like they're shaking out, or they're shaking out to be the way I expected. So,
oh man, holy fuck, I almost died watching the TSM throw. Holy fuck, it was so fucking good. And also Bjerg played a bit bad, which was like fucking shocking to me.
I thought Sven played terrible that game. I thought he just played like absolute fucking dog that entire game.
The most frustrating thing about Sven is Sven used to be like so fucking consistent, so fucking good, and then TSM gets him and Mithy, and then it's been so up and down, and then now it's just been consistently dog shit, where I'm like, holy fucking, like, what the fuck were you on Origin? What the fuck were you on G2? Like, why do we get this version of Sven whenever he comes to NA? It's just super fucking.
I mean,
he's not bad. I know for a fact he's not bad, but he's just fucking terrible on TSM.
All you need to watch is that final Baron that C9 ended the game off of, where he literally just sees the Aatrox, and he had a ward there, right? Like there was a red ward in the bush. He 100% knows the Aatrox is there. It's not like he didn't see the fucking Aatrox, and he just like lets him die. He doesn't walk towards his Tahm Kench. He doesn't walk towards the back of the Baron. It's a 4v5 Baron. Position in any way where you don't get one shot and you're not in the front of your fucking team. And he literally just gets one shot. It's like, wait, you let a Sivir, like, Aatrox hit him with a Q or whatever, but the Sivir walked up to him and autoed before he was able to do anything. Like, I don't know, man. Like, it just seems so fucking weird to me.
I don't know. TSM games make me so fucking sad right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean the Bjergsen flank where he just like didn't ult in the fight, that was really cancer as well. Like there's so many mistakes that I see TSM make, but there's literally no way you should be able to lose that game with the lead you have. Jace is fucking 3-0 up like 20 CS. You have a Rumble that has perma-pride. It's Rumble versus Vlad, dude. That is the worst. I think C9, like everyone always says that Reaper's drafts are good. I think his draft was fucking dog shit this game. I think he got like hard dicked by Tony that whole fucking draft. What is his draft supposed to do? He's Jarvan into Sedge. That's a bad matchup, or that's like not a good matchup for sure. Like maybe it's like at best it's like a little bit even, but I mean late game Sedge way outscales. Jarvan is slightly better early. You have Jason into Aatrox. That didn't look like a good matchup for Aatrox. You have Vlad into Rumble. That's a terrible matchup. It's like, where did you win the draft? You literally just hard lost the draft in every lane. Like that is probably the worst draft I've seen this split. I've not seen a draft where you lose every single lane and jungle based off draft. That's so insane. Like how do you get into a draft and you can't get any advantage? Like normally the way a draft works is like some team picks like a top laner, some team picks a mid laner, and then it's like, oh, we got like a counter pick here now because they had to pick something else first, or at least we get like an even matchup. He got no even matchups 3 losing lanes and a losing jungle matchup. That's as bad as you can draft, right? Like, can you draft worse?
Was he thinking Rumble against Aatrox? Because the way the draft went, it was the supports and junglers were picked first, and then he went Rumble. TSM went Rumble, and then it was Vlad, Aatrox for Cloud9, and then TSM countered with the Jace. So that's just getting, the rug pulled under you, thinking Rumble's going top. You throw the Aatrox up there, right?
Yeah, but I mean, so why would you pick Vlad? Like, that's such a random pick. It's so fucking random. Like Vlad is not meta. It's not good into Rumble mid at all. Like, you play Vlad into Rumble mid, you get shoved in, and Bjergsen just gets to roam for the first 15 minutes of the game while you try to CS evenly. Like, there's just no advantage. There's no win condition. His win this is what I hate so much about those types of games, is it reinforces the idea of this is an okay way to draft. Yeah, we can just play for fucking late game. Vlad Aatrox late game is really good, but it's wait, if you play versus a good team, you play that versus an actual good team, you play that draft versus G2, imagine what the fucking game looks like. The game will end before 20 minutes, 100%. You can't draft in those types of ways where you have no early game, no advantages at all. Your early game is oh, we got a Jarvan on our team.
Yeah.
Let's hope he can do something. I don't know what he's supposed to fucking do, but he can maybe do something. He's a Jarvan, right?
Try to gank for 2 lanes that have no CC and just a bottom lane that there's a Tom Kench on the other team. It's I don't know what he's supposed to do.
I feel like you're just playing for an NA draft, which is
NA draft.
Team fight. Yeah, have better team fight and hope the other team fucks up. Hope the other team doesn't press.
I don't even know. Do you actually have better team fight with that draft?
It's what Sivir, Vlad, Aatrox, Jarvan, Lux versus.
I mean, I guess you do because but I mean, if the game goes anywhere close to the way it should, I feel you just never win a team fight. You have slightly better team fight, but not by a big enough margin where it's we can just hang on and wait for that team fight. It's no, you're just gonna get fucking steamrolled. You run that draft, so. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. I was really disappointed in that because I remember just before, I think one of the interviews, people were oh, we got to be careful for the C9 game tomorrow. Reaper's always got his draft kingdom. I think Akkadian said that in an interview or something. He said Reaper's draft kingdom, and I'm yeah, Reaper always has had pretty good drafting, right? That was one of his strengths as a coach. And then you see that game and you're wait a second, does he have good drafting or does NA just fucking suck? Because this draft looks like dog shit to me. It looks like his drafting is terrible from my perspective, but I don't know.
I think Reaper's drafts are always different. It can be different good or it can be different bad, and it's one of those different bads. But his drafts are never standard. When I think C9 draft, I think they're one of the hardest teams to think about because they're never doing what's the norm, where other NA teams, it's almost like a formality. I ban this, you ban that. Okay, I get this OP, and then you get this slightly less OP. And C9 usually doesn't opt into it, and they do something different almost every week.
I mean, I don't know if that's a good thing though. Whenever I hear that reminds me of when Skara calls things interesting. It's oh, that's a really interesting play. That's a really interesting draft. It's so you mean it was dog shit, but you're too nice. Okay, I guess.
Well, this one was bad. I agree with you. This one was bad, but there are good ones that he does.
He's had good drafts for sure, but this one was extremely bad.
And to be fair, also Cloud9 has adopted that identity. Niski came out last week saying about the Vigar, I'm comfortable playing these weird champs. I really don't care what the meta is, if it helps my team win. And so they've already said, hey, this is us. This is what we're going to do. I think you just made a great point. They messed up. They thought Rumble was going top.
They fucked up that draft too. Actually, I forgot about that draft. I was so focused on the team. I think that they got out drafted in the other game too. The
Echo Fox game.
The Echo Fox game. Yeah, because they were winning so hard and it felt like they just couldn't ever engage. They drafted Vigar into a poke comp and then they just got perma poked and lost every objective off of it. Even with I think they were winning in the early game as well. So. Yeah, I thought both of the drafts were bad.
Mike Young.
That was Vigar versus Ezreal game. What was that?
That was
versus Corki. He was versus Phoenix's Corki. Yeah, and then the Yuumi just sat on the Corki, and then Phoenix just 1v5 them with poke. Yep. Every objective, they would just have Corki 1v5 them with Yuumi poke.
Oh, if you're talking about C9, what do you guys think of their bot lane right now?
They're playing so bad right now. I don't know why.
I watched pro views of their bot lane recently because people were talking about how bad they were playing. I was shocked. If you did not tell me it was C9, I would have thought it was just random diamond players. And why the fuck are they playing LCS?
Holy shit!
They're fucking up such basic stuff. Where base Lux trade is I have you learn shield level 1, you walk up, you shoot shield forward, and then you trying to hit people or you shoot shield as people are trying to hit you. Zeyzal shoots shield first and then walks up, and they just back up, and then once the shield is done, like he's getting pummeled, and then during all of that, like Sneaky's in the back, they don't coordinate for level 2s. Like they're fucking up such basic parts of the game. I don't know what the fuck is going on.
Yeah, I mean, I also don't even feel like, so the C9 versus TSM bot lane, it was Lux Sivir versus Varus Tom Catch. I don't think that Varus Tom should be winning, like, or like even in, or like ahead in CS and lane. Like, I don't, that seems weird to me. It feels like if you pick like a range support into Tom, like most of the time you should be able to like at least get like a yeah, like you should be like pushing into the turret, like getting a small CS lead, like things like that.
Yeah.
I don't know what, but something's wrong with C9 bot lane. I mean, that's kind of why the trade happened, I guess.
Wait, do you think Deftly is actually going to get chances to see LCS time?
So let's head on over to that. Hell yeah, dude. I think so.
Wait, okay, so let's do this experiment, or let's see what you guys think. So definitely for Keith, do you think it was a straight up trade, or do you think there was money also involved? Like one side got money on top of getting the player?
I think both those players aren't worth shit. I'll be honest.
I don't know if they would have gotten money.
I would be surprised if there was money on it. I think it's just like
if anything, I think Keith would cost money because C9 wouldn't just give away a player like that without money involved.
So my take on this is Golden Guardians paid money for Keith. It was Keith plus money for Deftly, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's.
Wait, so you think Deftly is worth more than Keith?
You think they paid for Deftly?
So you think Deftly is worth more than Keith?
I'm saying Golden Guardians gave C9 Deftly and also some money.
Okay, that's what I was saying. Yeah,
that's what I think too.
Yeah, because for C9, I don't think they really have an idea on, hey, we want to start Deftly. But for Golden Guardians, I'm sure they are like, holy fuck, we want to start Keith. Like we want to make like a playoff run, like, and we had like a shitty week, and we don't think like FBI who he's working at. We want to go back to playing with Ole, and we don't think Ole Deftly is good, so we're gonna try Ole Keith.
I honestly just want to see Keith play like well in LCS. I feel like I don't know. I still have faith in Keith for some reason. It's really weird, but it's just like there's things that he does like really well right now that I think he has strengths right now that he used to not have. And if he could just like be the same player that he was originally when he came into the league, like originally Keith was like really bad at laning, but he was always like consistent in team fights, could put out damage, things like that. And then he just changed to like dirty inting every single team fight, right? Like he would just like get one shot before every single team fight when he was on Echo Fox. And now he's like good at laning. Like when
they put him on Ashe, dude. They put him on Ashe every game.
Yeah, they put him on like these no escape like 80 carries like Ashe, and then he just gets like shit on by, he just gets hit by everything and dies. So I think that Keith actually like he has potential. What I'm hoping happens is like Deftly was always like passive laner. That's how I see Deftly. He's like very, very passive in lane. Whereas Keith, I feel like Keith Ole, I think could actually be like a bot lane where they get solo kills sometimes and things like that. So I think that there is like potential there.
I know there's like an image of Deftly being like a passive laner, but like Deftly Ole laning wasn't that bad at all, and especially towards spring playoffs, they were getting solo kills in lane, and it's never been the laning that's been the problem with Deftly. It's been the team fight, and I also think maybe like not getting along with Froggen, maybe that's a problem, because I like the fact that they benched them. So they benched them because they either thought they weren't good enough, or there was like a problem that's happening in the team, and then they traded him. Like when you get benched and traded, like there is some kind of internal problems. And when I think like Keith, I don't think the best player in the world, but one thing I know for sure is like Keith, Gate, and Froggen, those three are like tight, like they're friends together. So maybe like that's playing into it. Like this trade is really hard to read because it's like it's not like there's like a one clear winner in either side, so a lot of speculations both ways.
Yeah, I was about to be like, do you think that Froggen was kind of like, I want a new AD? None of these two guys. I played with Keith before. I know he can at least do his job. Put him on Ashe again, he'll give me vision. Like that type of thing. You think Froggen at least like?
I just can't imagine. Like I know that Froggen and Keith are friends, but I can't imagine that like Froggen had a good like perception of Keith, because Keith literally like hard ran it down on him for an entire year in LCS. So
I mean, sometimes separation makes you grow a
heart
little
grows
fonder of those times.
I mean, I'll be honest, that Echo Fox team that went 1-17 with Keith and Froggen, that to me was the worst team that was ever in LCS, in my opinion. Like I can't think of a team that was worse than that.
Was there a Coast team at one
there was
point?
a Coast team or something that was
Yeah.
I think there was
Yeah.
a Coast team. Damn, really?
Yeah, the Coast team had a better record, that's for sure.
With
Yeah.
1-17, is that the worst record ever?
Yeah, that's the worst record ever. In the league,
Dragonborn,
1-17.
like in the first season of EU LCS, went winless. I believe that was.
They went
Sushi.
No,
entirely
That's EU. That's EU.
Yeah, that was EU. That was EU LCS.
Wait, did that Dragonborn team go entirely winless?
I think
No,
they
they
went-
didn't. Hell
they-
no. Hell no. There's no way. I remember
Alright,
watching
someone
them.
look it up.
Yeah.
That was
Dragonborn.
Sushi's team, I believe.
Fuck, I don't even know how to fucking look it up.
LCS.
LCS 2013, LCS 2013 spring standings. There's no way they're winless. I remember watching them win. It wasn't. I don't even think they had that bad of a record. I remember them having like 8 wins or some shit. Let's see.
There's TDK that went 3-15.
Oof.
Wow, dude, this team.
Dragonborns went 6-22.
Yeah.
6-22. So I mean, they had some wins.
Yeah, they had some wins. Okay. Longer
Yeah.
season.
This team had like, I guess not decent players, but names I recognize so much, like Dexter, Yamato Cannon, Broken Shard, Young Buck. Holy
But
shit!
at the time, though, you're like, who the fuck is Yamato Cannon? And stuff like that.
I mean, the problem is that those like players didn't really play that much. So like, Maluno played most of it, and like Yamato Cannon played like a game. Dexter played like a couple games. You know,
Damn,
wasn't
how do
like-
you even remember this shit?
I watched a lot of LCS. I've watched way too much LCS in my days.
Same.
God,
Um,
hold on, sorry. I'm now going back down memory lane. I'm like, I'm still like thinking of that 2015 Spring Coast where they had like, I know it had like Shifter and stuff like that, but then they had like that whole.
2015 Spring Coast had Jess's. Not Shifter was on Dig.
Oh,
Oh, it
okay,
was
yeah,
Jesse's
yeah, that's
too,
right. That it was after that. It was after that, and then they had Miracle and Ringer, which I thought were the funniest fucking
am I
names for a
lagging?
team. That
I
or
think I DC'd.
oh
No,
you're
we
yeah, we got you. Yeah, but yeah, we had they had Miracle
Nope.
and Ringer, which were the two funniest fucking names for people who were like coming into your team in the middle of a goddamn terrible split. You're like, we need a Miracle and maybe a Ringer, and they just bring in these two
Oh.
Koreans.
They were 1-17 as well. Jesus.
Yeah,
Wow.
they were I think they were the worst team personally.
I don't know.
Daniel, what was Golden Guardians in spring?
Golden Guardians was 3 in spring, 5.
Oh, and that team had Daniel too. So hold on, let me think.
Jesus.
No, dude.
I think it was 5 and 11.
Five
Oh yeah,
and 11.
they. Oh yeah, I remember that.
It can't be 5 and 11. It would. It
No,
has to have
it was
18.
4 and 14, right? It was 4 and 14, and then it was like 5 and
3 and
13 the next split
3 and
or something.
3 and
I remember they
15.
went up by 1 win, and it was like, damn, at this rate, they'll be like the winners of LCS in the year like 2045. Excellent.
Yeah. Slow steps, one at a time. And then, of course, they did season. But going back to this
Yep.
trade, I think you guys are really high on Keith. And not that you guys already know I'm high on Deftly.
No,
I think
bro.
He's been stuck.
Yeah,
All right,
we're
Daniel,
down on
then
that.
explain it. Explain it.
Yeah,
Why
yeah,
do you
yeah,
think this trade happened?
So I think this trade happened because knowing Deftly's a little temperamental, and if he gets benched and sees the bot lane do the same thing, or if not worse, but they get kind of results, go 1-1, he's like, this is the same squad that we used last season. Like, I feel betrayed here. Because everyone knows this team revolves around Hanser
Froggen.
and Froggen. Mostly Froggen, and then Hanser gets resources as well. How can he shine on the squad, and then he gets benched and he becomes the scapegoat? That just doesn't sound great. And for Deftly, this seems like such a huge move here for him, because going to Cloud9, seeing Sneaky is a very consistent laner and a very consistent player. He's not going to make the over hyphy, flashy plays, but there's huge value in him being consistent over the years. He's always been a top 3 AD carry. And right now, he's kind of not doing well, as Loco presented. He's not doing well. This is an opportunity for Deftly. Maybe not this year, because he's consistent. You're going to ride out the lows with the highs. but in a year. This is a long-term move, I think, for Deftly, because he'll sign for Cloud9, and his contract will be up here, I think, at the end of this split. So Golden Guardians wanted to get something, some value here for a contract that was going to run out and someone that probably wasn't going to resign. So I think that's where we see the value in it. You get Keith, you see what you got. I don't think he's going to start. I think they're going to roll with FBI, and definitely gets an opportunity to go to a big organization and, you know, have an opportunity behind a guy that has been great but is older. So
yeah, I'm not sure what to think about FBI personally. Like, I thought he was really good. I thought he was gonna like come in and like be like, I thought he was literally gonna be like a top 5 AD carry in the league, but he doesn't look close to like a top 5 AD carry. He looks like one of the worst in the league. So I'm really surprised. I don't know. I thought like he was one of the players because I played in OCE. I like did like a challenge there or whatever. And FBI and Lost were FBI, Lost, and Surnefire were like the 3 good players. Everyone else in the region is shit besides for those 3. And those 3 players like all looked like top tier NA players in terms of pure mechanics, but I just don't feel like he's playing well at all. I know in an interview he said that he's like still kind of nervous on stage. He's still like getting, but to me this is like way worse than what I expected. So I could easily see Keith getting playing time if FBI is like still having issues.
The Frog and Keith connection, it's gonna come up. If it happens, it's gonna come up. How much do you guys like vouch for your? Would you vouch for your friend to play if you were an LCS player right now?
If I mean, the thing is, like for me, it would be really hard for me to be like on good terms with my teammates if I had a 1-17 season. Like if I lost every game with them, I would just think all my teammates suck.
They're all like when you go out and then like you see esport people like Frog and Gate and Keith are always there together. Like they still seem really close.
Yep. I mean, I just don't know how that's like like how can you be happy? Like how can you not just lose respect for all your teammates if you're going 1-17? Like that's just so
Maybe
bad.
they scapegoated other people.
I mean, I guess.
Looper was
I don't know,
$1 billion up top and couldn't beat out Brandini for a starting spot.
Like I don't know. It's a weird kind of thing where like if you go 1-17, you're going 1-17 together. Because like if you blame them, that's a little bit hypocritical because you're also 1-17, you know, and it's a team game. So
yeah, but I mean, it depends. Like it depends on how the 1-17 goes. But that was like Keith really ran it down for the entire split. Like he was literally just.
They had a lot of winning games.
Yeah, they had so many games where it was like, all right, all you have to do to win is just don't die, Keith. Just don't die, and he would just die before the team fight, and they would just lose. Like it was like almost every single game went like that. That's why Reddit started shitting on him because he was the one making the obvious mistakes. Like the game-losing mistakes were coming from Keith, and that's why like everyone started hating him. Like he fucking like developed like depression and shit from that. So like, I mean, like people, I don't know how you could like still have that much confidence in after seeing that, you know.
Yeah, in terms of like being friends, I mean, like eventually you get to a point where you're like, oh, that's just them, right? You're like, they're an inter, but they're our inter. Like, you know what they're going to do. At least you don't have expectations ahead of time, right? You can't be let down if you already know what's going to happen.
Man, I wouldn't want somebody who's my inter on my team. In LCS. I'll be honest.
Would you rather have somebody else's inter? No, man. I want my inter.
So quick before we move on.
I would want somebody who's not an inter, I guess.
Ideally, but if you had to have an inter.
All right, okay. I guess I'll take it.
Keith.
Well, before we move on, my last comment about Keith is I really can never tell how good this guy is because I always thought anyone that can make like top 5 in Korean solo queue, like during like competitive season, must have insane mechanics, and like this is someone like worth looking at. I also had him on TSM, like he was just like lazy, he was just kind of there, he was just kind of nonchalant, like it seemed like he didn't care that much.
He was like leveling up a new account when he got traded to TSM. It was so weird.
I don't know, like Keith has always been like extremely hard to read for me as a player. Like there's certain aspect where I'm like, wow, like the Korean solo queue thing, and like sometimes when I saw him play with TL, like there were definitely like wow moments, and also me personally working with him and kind of watching his growth going up and down, I'm just like, who is this guy? Like, is he really good? Like, I know he's like easygoing. I know he's easy to get along with. But other than that, like his play and his performance has never been consistent.
He says all the right things and does all the right things and then has the resume of it. I think it's just seeing if at some point.
What's his resume, Daniel?
The Korean solo queue. The Korean solo queue.
That enough is not a resume. That's just like one blip.
And then
Like-
multiple LCS rosters. He's been around.
Yeah,
he
and
knows
then
how things
rank
work.
1 NA as well. Like
Mhm.
he's always been like good mechanically in solo queue. He's like one of those players you get him on your team and you're like, all right, we win bot lane 100%.
But
And I
his
think-
resume is like up and down. It's like as you guys talked about, like the rank 1 in NA, the what is it, rank 5 in Korea, and also like absolute terrible performances in LCS, like the 1-17 Echo Fox teams you mentioned, and like he
Yeah,
was
I just
great
feel like
on
there's-
FPL timing, like, but he's just been so up and down. It's not clear to me what kind of player he is.
I mean, for me, it's like I don't even see it as up and down. It's like competitively, he's done terribly. Individually, he's done really well, like solo QIs and like things like that, and like even in academy. So like LCS, he's done terribly, and everything else, I think he's done really well. That's how I view him as a
Yeah.
player.
And I think if you're a buyer like Golden Guardians in this market, you look at that guy and it's like, yeah, he's a product of his team. We have a good team. We made playoffs. We have an office. All these things, and you feel like you could stick him in. Who starts first, Deftly or Keith? Let's go around. Zyrene, who do you got? Who gets their opportunity to start, I guess?
Oh God.
I think it's pretty easy for me and Loco.
Yeah.
I think it's Keith.
Yeah, I think it's Keith
Yeah.
too.
It's
Yeah.
easily Keith. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure
Well,
Golden
I'm just thinking
Guardians
on the
paid
other
money.
side.
Like they had to pay
Yeah.
money for Keith. Like you're not gonna pay fucking people money unless you're trying to start the guy.
Yeah.
And they're like on the cusp of playoffs. Like they're right about to miss playoffs, and they're like barely in it. So they're like in a really fucking nervous spot, and
And-
they want to get something clicking.
And C9's not shit in the bed, right? Like even if their bottom lane isn't doing too well, it's like, well, they're not losing their games. And removing Sneaky does remove a lot of like, star power for the team.
I think
Sure.
Sneaky is the longest standing player on a team in NALCS right now. It's Sneaky
believe so,
and
yes.
Bjergsen.
Yep.
Yep.
So yeah, they're just not gonna remove Sneaky out of nowhere. It's gonna cannibalize the fan base, especially like
I mean, they did it once, right?
They did.
Yeah,
they
like
did it,
limits.
but that was like extreme, and that was like they were gonna like fucking fail if they didn't do that. Like right now, it's like they're doing fine. They're 7-3. They're not like they should be 8-3 actually.
Yeah, I
Wait,
think
are they
they're-
7-3?
Yeah.
Mhm.
No, they're
they're
8-3.
8 and something. Yeah.
Wait, there's only been 6 weeks, right? So haven't they played 12 games though?
8.
They're
Oh
eight
wait,
and
are they
four.
8-4? Oh shit, my bad. Who did
Yeah,
they
they're 8 and
drop to?
4.
Wait, did they drop to Echo Fox?
They lost to Echo Fox, yeah.
remember?
That was
Oh
the
my
Corporate
god.
game.
Okay, yeah,
The
yeah.
throw.
Okay.
So
I mean, I
that-
feel like they should have lost both games. Like that's the thing is like I mean, I guess they had the opposite game versus Echo Fox that they did versus TSM, where they just like had a huge lead. But I mean, I don't know. It was super weird. The Echo Fox game was super weird because they killed Solo like 50 times, right? And
Yeah.
I mean, I guess we can talk about Solo at some point because I honestly like I think he's actually tilted in LCS. Like if you watch like the way he plays, I think that he just is really frustrated because his jungler is probably the worst player in the league. So yeah. So I think that that game he gets solo killed, or no, he gets ganked and then he gets ganked again, and he's like literally laughing on camera by how hard he's getting camped, and then he's still up like 20 CS on Kumo the whole time, which I thought was super weird. Like if you're playing Jason to GP, I think that was the matchup, right? It was Jason
Yeah,
to GP.
GP.
Yeah. So you're playing GP into Jace, and like let's face, right, that much jungle attention, you get like multiple kills. How do you not like pull out lead versus GP? I feel like GP should be one of like the hardest champions to like come back on if you die a lot early. Like it's
Solo,
super hard.
Really fucking good GP. He's a really fucking good GP. I think he's one of the
Yeah.
best GPs with impact.
Mhm.
So,
Still, I feel like it doesn't matter how good you are. You literally just shouldn't be able to do anything if the other person. Like, I don't feel like it's up to you. Like, I think that if you play GP perfectly from that perspective, like at that point, if you play GP perfectly, I still think you should be fucked based on how far behind you are. So, I don't know. I was kind of like surprised by that. But
wait, do you
yeah,
think
dude.
Mike Young's worse than Rush?
I think I don't
Yeah.
I don't know if he's worse than Rush. I think he is worse than Rush. Yes,
I think
do.
so.
But then I also think that Mike Young is the worst player in LCS right now. Like, I thought
Wow.
about it. I actually thought about this point before the show.
All right, who are like your top 5 worst players in LCS?
Yeah. The
Let's
bottom.
Top
go.
five.
Let's fucking go there. Let's fucking go there.
This is bingo, but the free space is already Soligo, dude. He's not in. He's not even in.
Okay.
Top 5 worst players in LCS.
At the moment, let's not do Feligo or people that
Okay.
came in.
Okay.
So, like Dom
Okay.
has like Mike Young up there.
Yeah, so I think Mike Young is the worst. I think
Dokla.
FakeGod is pretty bad. Dokla is
Dokla.
pretty bad.
Okay,
So
Mike Young,
those
Dokla,
three.
Thank God.
Mhm.
Who else?
FBI is playing really bad right now.
Lyra.
Yeah. Lyra's
Lyra, actually, yeah, Lyra's a big one.
Yeah, I'd say those are probably bottom 5 right now.
Oh, damn. Dokla, Mike Young, FakeGod, Lyra.
Yeah.
Well, the strange thing is, like, all these other players, like Dokla and FakeGod, I'm like kind of whatever about. I'm like, you guys are new to the league. Like, it's not the end of the world. Like, you guys are in bottom 5. But like Lyra, like they fucking pulled you from Korea, and you're one of the 5 worst players.
This is a
Holy
reminder
shit.
that
I mean,
he
he's
picked
been
up an
bad for a
import
while
slot.
too. He was like really good, and then he was just terrible after season 7. I felt like he's just been bad for a long time. It feels like he doesn't play. Also, I don't even know what his solo queue count is. I never see him in solo queue, so I feel like he just might not be putting in that much effort anymore. Feels like maybe he's just collecting a check. Yeah, I think Mike Young is just like that Zen into Jarvan pick, and then he just like runs it down the whole. Like he literally just ran it down the whole game. Like I don't know how you can win on Zen. It actually makes me so frustrated watching that because like as somebody who plays Zen is the type of champion where if you fucking run it down early, you should be fucked for the entire game, right? Like that is just what the champion is. It's early game champion. You don't have good clear. You don't have like good outplay potential. You're just a power champion. You just have to run around the map early, do something unexpected, do unexpected pathing, get fights. And in those fights, you outperform. And then after a certain point, you just become like, all right, I'm an ult and you're just disruptive. But there's not like mechanics or like comeback ability within the champion. So then just to see him just hard run it down and then Phoenix still fucking carry him was just super upsetting to me. It's like you deserve to lose that game if you play like that with that champion, in my opinion.
Oh man, has Mike been tweeting? I wonder what his like psyche's been like after.
Didn't he tweet that he was taking a break from social media?
I mean, also like, yeah, no, I mean, so he's been on social media. He I think he tweeted after the Echo Fox win. Yeah, he tweeted off after the Echo Fox win, this week. But yeah, I mean, like the next game, did you see what Amazing did to him?
Oh,
on Sunday, Amazing just fucking ran over him. I feel like
it up.
Yeah. Here you go.
I mean,
Tweet of the week coming to you by Mr. Maurice Amazing. I forgot his last name. Love you, Mike Young. Sorry I took you in, but I will stay subscribed to you on Twitch. Heart, you, my favorite jungler, learned about your Nidison when I was a kid. Heart. Super nice guy. I hope he gets good. Win soon again.
Oh my
Hope
god.
he gets good.
every time I that's not even
That's not
honestly
toxic.
like I just look at that tweet. Like I mean, I got in trouble. So
Yeah,
I got in
story time with
trouble
Tom.
with my org for calling Mike Young autistic. But like, I mean, I think it was maybe the choice of words was poor. I don't know. I argued about this. This wasn't one of those things where like, Dom, you can't be calling people autistic. I'm like, what? Like, I
what if
wasn't
they are?
What? No, that
Did
was
you
kind
say,
of
but
like I was actually going for like the literal definition of autism, where it's like social like ineptitude, right? Like he is like no social aware. Like in this tweet, every time I see his tweet, why is he talking to Rush like Rush is a fucking dog? What? Because he's Korean? Like he's literally talking to him like he's a fucking dog. Like, he's like removing words and stuff like that. Like why is he talking to him like he's not a human? Like it's so fucking weird. Like that's the weirdest part about this tweet to me is that he's speaking like broken English. Like Rush is probably the best English speaking Korean period that we've had in LCS. Like actual, obviously there's been people like Hui that like grew up. I think he grew up in like France and he learned English like earlier in his life. But out of like the straight like Korean, like been in Korea all your life, then came here, I think he was the best English speaking Korean pro.
Mhm.
And then like to just like it's like what is this shit, dude? Learned about your Nidalee when I was kid, not a kid. When I was a kid, no kid. Super nice guy. I hope he gets good opportunity against like. And then he just starts speaking perfect English when he's addressing everyone. Let me talk to you like you're like a fucking dog, Rich. And everyone else, yeah, I hope he has I hope this guy does well out here, man. Like he gave it his all, and I think he's a great guy. Like it's just so weird to me. I don't know. Like this shit is actually just so fucking weird. So yeah, I mean, it deserves to be memed. Like this is just ridiculous.
Yeah.
I fucking hate that shit where people talk to you in like non-full English. Like no one does it to me anymore. But when I first moved to America and I was learning English, like people did talk to me. Like kids talk to me like that. Like some of the teachers talk to me like that. And like I legit had a conversation. Like you guys know I'm not stupid. I'm just fucking bad at English and I want to get better at English. Like don't fucking talk to me in broken English.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's like times where like if the person can't there's times where you like can slow down so people understand you or like things like that. Or there's times where you can remove words, but I feel like it just like rushes so far past that. Like it's so
No,
far past
it's
that.
insulting. You can do
Yeah.
it like when you're talking to someone that doesn't have great English and for the sake of understanding, but like first talk to them in like coherent sentences and like full sentences before you go with like the simple English shit.
True.
Well, speaking of broken English tweets, we got a second tweet of the week for you. After Daddy Amazing stepped up, FakeGod came on in. Top map slip early game just to win lane and be useless the whole game while your bot lane can't win. XP. Well played, XD. This is joke. Like I just hear Borat's voice from FakeGod, and he's being serious about it.
No, FakeGod's actually like a troll. I didn't realize that FakeGod was actually just like a huge memer. Like he's actually pretty fun. I watched LCS Cooldown and he was on it with Maurice. I thought he's actually pretty fun. I mean, it just the reason why he tweeted that is because obviously last time when he like tweeted that like win lane lose game Broken Blade just popped off for, like he was joking and Broken Blade didn't interpret it as a joke, so he was kind of taking a shot at that. He's like, "Yo, this is a joke, by the way. I don't know if it wasn't obvious the first time, but now it's a fucking joke." So,
I think this is great for somebody who's coming in and doesn't really have any like branding or social presence at all, right? Like that's one of those things where like Broken Blade bringing attention to it's gonna like make him pop off if he has the right kind of approach to it. So I think it's good that he follows up instead of retreats. You know,
Yeah,
you pull back, you just like. You disappear. Don't want.
Yeah, I actually like FakeGod, even though I think he's one of the worst players in the league.
That's what I was about to say.
I mean, I think he thinks he's one of the worst players in the league too. Like, I don't think it's like
Really.
Yeah, like the way he talks about himself, he's like when he was on LCS Cooldown, he's like, right now I either lose lane or go even. I never win. He's like, I need to like start trying to fucking win lane at some point.
Would you take him? The only gripe that I had with that was Ruin. Would you take him over Ruin, or would you take Ruin?
Oh yes. Oh no, I'll take Ruin way over him. I think Ruin is actually like solid team player. I think that Ruin is more of just like a complete player. Like maybe his laning isn't that good. I think Ruin's weakness is laning, but it seems like he like understands his job as a top laner.
Yeah.
I feel like that's really important for a team. Like you don't have to worry about Ruin making like wrong decisions or not knowing what lane to go to like at different points in the game. I think that's really valuable, having like somebody that has just like competitive experience. Like he's been playing competitive for what, 3 years? Like I remember he was on Giants and then he played in Turkey. He won the Turkish league and then he came over here. Like he's been playing for like 3-4 years. So
long as it's not Darshan.
Oh jeez. They interestingly have very similar stats. But anyway, speaking of these 100 Thieves tweets, 100 Thieves, the only other team other than Team Liquid to go 2-0 last week. And so Loco wanted to pose the question to everybody. With this remaining schedule, Cloud9 FlyQuest next week, week 8, Golden Guardians TSM, and week 9, Clutch and CLG. When I look at this roster, this looks like 2 winnable games, FlyQuest Clutch, 2 hard games, TSM Cloud9, and then 2 games that are really going to tell you what this team's about with Golden Guardians and CLG. Do we think that 100 Thieves surging up can make playoffs?
I think they can. I think that Optic is going to drop. It feels like Optic is just like on the downtrend. When I watch them play, they just look like not solid anymore. And I feel like the fact that they started 4-0 and then they've been 2-6 after their 4-0 start, like that weighs on a team. That makes you feel like you're just not able to win games when you just lose that much in a row. So I think that the momentum really favors them, like in that type of matchup.
Yeah, I think it's between 100 Thieves and FlyQuest. Like I agree that Optic will probably drop and FlyQuest is coming up again. But 100 Thieves, I think the timing of their matches is good too, because their 2 easiest matches are near the end. So they're like very likely to end with at least 7 wins, potentially 8. I think you might be able to get into playoffs this split with an 8-10 record. I think somebody's going to be able to do that, which is usually really unlikely because at least there's one team that's smashing everybody, and that really adjusts the standings. But since everybody's beating everybody else and the standings are still so close by like a single win, it's going to be somebody who's like 8-10 making it in.
Yeah, usually the bare minimum is 9-9, but there are times like where 8-10 just can squeeze by. Ooh. What do you think is the record for their next 6 games? I don't think the C9 one.
think they go 3-3.
What are they right now? They're 5-7, right?
They're
Yeah.
5-7, tied with Clutch, who are also 5-7. I don't even know how the hell Clutch
I would put
has
them at
5
3-3.
wins.
Yeah.
But Optic 6-6, Golden Guardian 6-6. So those are the spots that you're looking at. FlyQuest 4-8.
I don't know the strength of schedule for other teams, but I agree with Dom. Like Optic's been going down, and also for Golden Guardians, like they're shaking things up. And I don't think FBI, who he has been the best for them, and like they're like the Keith thing is their like last line of defense. And if that Keith thing doesn't work out, I can also see Golden Guardians just slipping all the way.
Mhm.
The other interesting team in all this is actually Clutch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Clutch
I
and
don't know.
100 Thieves used to be like the red teams that are terrible in LCS, and they're now actually vying for playoffs.
Yep. I don't know. I just don't have faith in Clutch really. Like they just don't look good to me. Like they don't look like so DeMonte pulled out Kiana, right? Like people probably weren't super prepped against Kiana, and he looked probably like the mid laner that had the biggest like lead on the mechanics of Kiana. It seemed like he was the most comfortable on the champion. So I feel like they got like he did better than normal because of that, but they just don't seem like a team that they can like that you can play solidly against. Like if I was playing against Clutch next week, I would just ban Kiana and then just be like, all right, play against the standard. And if you play against the standard, you probably lose. Like ban Kiana, Rumble, play against the standard, and you just lose the game. You know, because like I feel like those are like Clutch is just not scary because their jungler isn't good. The teams that I would be afraid of here if I was 100 Thieves, I think every one of these games is winnable except for C9 and TSM. I think that Akkadian and Svenskeren are going to be able to like bully Amazing because Amazing's like a solid good player, but he can't play like aggressive early game stuff right now in LCS. Like maybe it's because of the team, but also I think that he's just like not super mechanically strong anymore. He's like more just like game knowledge, good pathing, knows which lanes to gank at which times. Once he gets a lead, he knows how to close out the game.
Yeah,
But
I just go ahead.
No, I just think that he's just not going to be able to get that lead against like Akkadian and Sven. I think Akkadian and Sven are like two of the best junglers in the league, and they'll just be able to like abuse a player like Amazing.
Whoa,
Yeah.
you think Akkadian's one of the best junglers in the league? It's
I think so he's been playing like not as good this split. I actually think this week he played well though. Like Akkadian played well this week, and this is like when I'm like, okay, he's back. Like this is how I expect him to play.
Oh man, Sven won. Who's my number 2? Still
Smithy.
Xmithy, and then
Santorin.
Santorin or Akkadian?
Santorin's like hard to
Judge right now.
Judge right
yeah
now, because
he's really hard.
Well, I think Santorin and Amazing kind of have the same issue when I watch them play, is that I don't know who they're supposed to play off of in their lanes, like hardcore, right? Like if I'm Amazing, I'm like, okay, I have this top laner that isn't really going to win lane by himself. I have this mid laner that is going to probably go even, and I don't know how much I can coordinate with him. And then my bot lane is like, Bang is trying to survive for the mid game. So it's like, who am I going to help out? Who's the aggressive player? Who's the player on your team that's going to play past the halfway point and provide pressure somewhere on the map? Or otherwise your jungle is like forfeit. And that's why I don't think he can play anything that's like super early game focused that much, because it's like, well, I don't know if my team's gonna be able to back me up if I want to.
Hasn't he?
No, I mean Amazing.
Oh, okay, Amazing.
Yeah, because I think Santorin is the opposite, where he's like, he's got the same issue with his lanes, but instead he's like, I'm gonna be aggressive and I'm gonna like have Viper and pull him in or something, right? And kind of like make that sacrifice and say, Viper's playing for pressure, I can play off him. So he at least has one person that he can really play off of. And Pobelter, I think, is good at pivoting to like help the jungler out. So I think Amazing is like a in a worse situation to him, but I think they're both in a similar one as a jungler. Like I hate it when you don't have a lane that you can play off of. Feels really bad.
Farm.
Just farm?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh wait, Chad actually gave me a really good answer. I also think Wiggly's been doing really well. I actually think we can probably go Smen, Xmithy, Wiggly, and then maybe we can talk about Akkadian. But I don't think he can break top 3.
Yeah, I think Wiggly's been pretty good this split. I'm not sure. Like, I don't really know, because it just seems like Wiggly has like good games and games where he kind of just exists, where he won't run it down. He won't like show that he's having a bad game, but I don't think he's playing well. So like the Jarvan game that he played with I think that was the game that they lost, right? He was playing Jarvan into, what was he playing? What was the matchup?
I'm looking. Is it the Team Liquid game?
No,
it's
it's
Lee Sin.
was it Lee Sin?
Right?
Like,
yeah. Oh yeah. My
like
notes is yikes.
Yeah. So like I remember at 7 minutes contracts is like level, and like Wiggly kind of threw that game and people didn't really notice it. Like there was a time where do you remember when Biofrost like ran in and just died? Like he just ran straight into the enemy team. He just ran straight into the enemy team into a pink ward, just insta died. And then right after that, Wiggly EQ flash ults all the way into the backline. It's like, all right, our support got one shot. This is an engage. And then they just like over engage. And that's like where the real throw of that game happened.
That was the Baron, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
that was
the Baron.
Yeah. So I felt like that was a big throw. I don't know. I feel like those are just like kind of like young player mistakes where it's like you don't know like whether to like cut your losses or not. It's like, oh, we can still win this. It's like you try to force those 4v5s and things like that, and it just never really ends up like working out. It's not a consistent play. So I think he's like good. He's like solid, but I would still personally rather like have like somebody like Akkadian on my team.
Yeah.
Right now.
Over Wiggly?
Yep. I would like if I was on TSM.
Wow.
Like if I had the choice between both players, I would take Akkadian over Wiggly every day.
Damn.
Agreed.
TFT or TSM would never say it, but I think they would take Wiggly in a heartbeat.
Really?
Wow.
Damn.
Yeah. I think they would take Wiggly in a heartbeat.
Why?
Wow. I'm pretty Wiggly just has way more potential. Wiggly's much younger and much newer to the league and has shown way more than Akkadian has.
Has he shown more than Akkadian has? I think Akkadian's spring split was better than any split Wiggly's ever played in his life.
I agree.
Well, this is Wiggly's second split.
Well, he played the previous split as well.
So
he played like games in the previous split.
For Akkadian, I'll give you that. I think that split was better for Akkadian than anything that Wiggly has ever done, like that finals run. But it was so specific. It was a perfect storm where they gelled really well with the top laner that was playing. The champions that were being played were right in Akkadian's corner, like Jarvan, Rek'Sai, and he never really got pushed off of anything. And when he did get pushed off, he didn't look the greatest, where he had to be really good on two champions and have really good synergy with a new top laner. And he had all that, but it wasn't a really difficult split. Like the things that were being asked out of Akkadian were stuff he was already good at.
I don't really agree with that. I think that he was actually like really versatile. That's what like one of the picks that I thought one of the reasons I thought he was so good was because people would like his Rek'Sai was just like the best Rek'Sai in the league, right? And people were like, okay, fuck, what do we do with his Rek'Sai? And when they would take Rek'Sai away from him, he would play Kindred into Rek'Sai and just 1v9 the game. Like he did that like 3 different times. So I thought that was like his strength, was that he just always was able to like, he always had a pick. Like that's how I felt at least.
The Kindred into Rek'Sai stuff, I think that got helped so much by Bjerg being able to play Zilean and Bjerg being a lane that you can gank for as Kindred. I think like whenever I see the Zilean Kindred team, there are good Kindreds out there, but the only two teams that can really do Zilean Kindred are the teams with Jensen and Bjergsen on it. I really think it has a lot more to do with like the mid laner being able to play Zilean proficiently for that comp to really function. Oh man, Akkadian or Wiggly? I'm interested to see this develop.
Has Wiggly ever pulled an IWDominate? No. Case fucking closed, dude.
Oh, sure. I actually was there in the chat when that happened.
I saw you type and everybody was like, I was here.
yeah, I said I was here. And then they're like, oh my God, Dom. I thought you were in the hospital. Now you're playing LCS. What happened?
Dude, I like when I saw that, I got flashbacks. It was literally like,
it was the
right
same
yeah,
spot.
It was the same exact spot. That was fucking yeah.
Well, TSM announced today, so we were talking about junglers overall. TSM announced yesterday that they are moving forward with Akkadian over Grig.
Thank
that gets
God.
us our answer and also gets stability for not just the fans, but for the roster themselves. Does this help them moving forward?
It saves me face on the show because I was about to swing all the way over to Grig based on the way Akkadian was playing. Because at first I was like, Akkadian I think is better. Then it was like, well, they're winning with Grig, but I still think Akkadian's better. I still think he's better. And then it got to the point where I was like, well, Akkadian's just not playing well, so Grig is better right now. And then Akkadian has that week, and I'm like, okay, Akkadian is better. He's shown that he's capable of it. He's shown that he can actually do that right now. So I think it's the right choice to go with him here, and so that you can lock it in. Because we were talking like bullshit. You're not going to play both these guys, right? Just make a decision.
Yep.
So I think it's good.
I'm happy that I finally have one.
So I was also with you, Zyrene. I thought they would probably pick Grig. Like if gun to the head, they had to pick someone. And then after watching Akkadian this week, I'm like, okay, I can kind of see why. But also, TSM just has way more information on both junglers than we do. So ultimately, I was gonna respect like whatever the fuck choice they made. I don't think there was they just have more information and they see so much more scrims. They probably talk to them. They know the dynamics of the team. One thing I still can't figure out is Sven still looks better whenever he plays with Grig than Akkadian. I have no
Yeah.
idea why, but
Yeah.
Zben's just looks dog shit whenever he plays with Akkadian.
He just runs it down on Akkadian nonstop.
And it's not his fault,
No.
right?
Here, I wanted to ask you guys about this. So since we're talking about TSM, what are your thoughts on the Duke tweet? Duke is like the coach of Splice. He tweeted that he thinks that Rogue would beat TSM 8 out of 10 games.
I think that's fucking ridiculous.
So
Yeah, I think that just shows how stupid he is as a coach. Like he's a fucking like you can see at that moment that he's just a retarded coach and he needs to be like imagine TSM as an org, right? And the way I'm seeing this is like this. I'm not saying like, oh, they randomly play in LCS. I'm saying like, okay, both teams like this. Loco actually reminded me of this when he said like gun to the head, because this is how I see it in my mind. It's like their lives depend on this fucking game. Like they play a best of 10. Their lives depend on it. They have 1 week to prep. Everyone preps, and then they go into like a big ass stake match. And like, yeah, their lives depend on this series. Who actually like? Do you think that Rogue can actually beat TSM 8 out of 10 times in like a high stakes match where both teams are like full on fucking tryhard?
Oh my god.
World. There's no world where that happens. Like I would literally bet my own life on that.
Really?
I would bet my own life on that match.
Yeah, those are fucking great odds. 8 out of 10.
8 out of 10 games.
8 out of 10. Okay, they have to beat 8 out of 10 games. Okay.
There's no way.
What if Rogue has to win? Rogue has to win 6. Rogue has to win 6.
Look at the players on Rogue. Which one of those players? Like fucking Bjergsen's pedigree, right? Bjergsen's pedigree. He's always fucking good when it matters.
We just got you out of the hospital. No, you talked about how no one's gonna go to your funeral but us. Don't make it happen, dog.
You actually think that Bjergsen's not gonna just like hard outperform in like a 10-game series where like they're full try like with the experience that like Rogue is just a bunch of fucking new players, really. Kind of like that's what the team is at this point, right? It's like Larson, Inspire, like all these motherfuckers. How can you actually say that like that they would beat TS, like knowing how TSM's culture and like knowing the TSM players, like you really think they can't win 3 games versus Rogue out of 10?
I'll give preface on like why this whole shit started, and I'll give you an answer on like what I think of TSM versus Rogue. So I had the TL analyst Keith on my other show, Listen Loco, and before that the European coaches were talking hella shit. So they were like, yeah, the 7th best team in Europe could beat every team in NA, maybe except for Team Liquid. And then Kay's like, yeah, I agree. I'm like, wait, so you think who's the 7th team right now? It'll be Rogue. You think they could beat TSM? And Kay's like straight up said to me, yeah, I think Rogue would beat TSM. Like this is where the whole fucking Rogue would beat TSM shit started. And then like I actually talked him through it, and he's like, okay, never mind, I retract that statement. And then after Rogue won versus OG, they're like, yeah, we can beat TSM. And then now Duke is adding on to it. First of all, I think like NA's been the worst it's ever fucking been. So all the European fans and all the European players and the coaches, that they're like salivating at the fucking idea of like shitting on NA and like NA having nothing to say. Like honestly, we can't say shit right now. So it's going to like these extreme measures. Like, could Rogue beat TSM?
I mean,
like,
number one, you can tell just based off the performance of Splice that Duke is just a terrible coach. Like he's just not a good coach, because this is how you determine whether a coach is good or not. Is the coach getting more out of the players than what you'd expect out of them? Like that is how I determine whether a coach is good or not. Like you look at the roster, you look at the lineup of players, and it's like, are you outperforming what your team should do? And like he just doesn't. Splice.
Whoa, you think Splice roster should be better?
I think Splice roster is exactly what it should be. I think you put those players together and you're like, yeah, that's just gonna be like a place team, and they just get fifth.
I actually disagree with that. I didn't think like this Splice roster was gonna do well. And
wait, so you have Kabi, Xerxes, and then you have, and you think that and Vizichachi, you think that roster is at least the middle of the pack team?
I think Vizichachi is a lot worse than like kind of what his name carries, and also I think Kabe is a flawed AD carry. Xerxes has been better.
Kabi, like people were talking about Kabi like he was the best AD carry in the league last split. Like that's
that was fucking bullshit. That was fucking bullshit.
I don't agree with that either.
Like, he was down like average 12 CS at 15 minutes. This guy was not a great.
I think he's like probably like a 4th best AD carry in the league. Yeah. Like a 4th, like, but that's how I feel about most of them. Like I'm just like, yeah, they're like 4th place players. They're like 4th place.
They're like 4th or 5th place players, and they're placing 3rd or either 4th. So I think like the coach is doing an average to a better job. They're 3rd right now. They're 3rd right now, and they were 4th
right now. Like who the fuck cares about right? Like
right
now.
They were 4th last. They were 4th.
Yeah, they were 4th last split.
Yeah,
and I thought they were 4th or 5th place team when I looked at the roster. Like when that team was put together, and I looked at like all the rosters of teams, The only reason I had them at 5th and not 4th is because I thought Misfits would not be as terrible as they were. I like before LEC, I bought into the fucking LEC hype of Misfits. Like when I saw that team, I'm like, I don't think they're gonna be that good, but everyone was like, they're a super team. They're gonna be like the best team, right? And I felt bad when I did my because I put my predictions like on Twitter or whatever. I felt like everyone was telling me like Misfits has to be top 2, right? So I put them at like 3rd because I was like, I guess it's gonna be G2 Fnatic then Misfits. Like I snuck them in there because everyone was so fucking hyped on Misfits, and then Misfits just ended up being fucking terrible. Like I thought Misfits would be like maybe a little bit better than Splice, but I mean at the end of it, it's like OG, Fnatic, G2. Those are like the teams that are good.
3, yeah,
and then like Vitality just fell off the fucking map. They're just now. Like who else is gonna be the 4th place team? Like it's not, to me that isn't like damn this, and like also the way that I see Splice, I fucking hate the way they play the game. Like I fucking hate the way they play. If you watch Splice, right, they're always the late game team. That's what Splice is. They're like the team where they're like, let's just stall out and then like it'll be like 70 minutes into the game and then we'll win one team fight and win. And I'm like, how the fuck is that good coaching? Like they don't have direction in game. They don't know like what's the next step. Like how are we closing out this game? They're like, let's get to 70 minutes. Like wait until we win.
Wait. As a coach, I'm gonna fucking defend this shit. So when I was fucking coaching TSM, like there were so many flaws to our roster. People sometimes told me like we had an all-star roster, but like there were problems with Dyrus, there were problems with Turtle, there were problems with Lust. We had to set up games where it went to team fight, where Turtle was actually a good team fighter and Bjerg could carry us. Like sometimes like with the roster you're given, the best way to play the game or the best way to win isn't to playing the game most optimally. It's to deal with like the kind of flaws your players have and finding out the best system for them. And I think I did that with TSM, and I think that's what Duke's doing with this Splice team. Like if they try to play that early game proactive priority style and they drafted for that, this team would do so much fucking worse. Like this is probably the best way.
But I'm not even talking about like that, like because there are times where they get leads in the game. It just doesn't seem like they're like a well-oiled machine. Like when I see like good teams get leads and it's like, damn, now they're just fucking like, now the support's just roaming with the jungler, they're deep warding, they're playing around the right objectives. Like there's teams that like will get into that style, right? Like for example, like what I'm thinking about is let's say the TL game where they played like the Caitlyn Lux game. That was like the most like clean, classic fucking
you have fucking TL players.
Exactly.
Give me TL players. I could coach a team like that.
Well, but like, it's not even about the players. Like, I didn't even care about like how they played. Like, it's just the decision. It's so crisp in terms of like they know exactly how they're gonna win the game, and I don't see that from Splice. Like when Splice gets leads, it's like, oh, like what's happening here? Oh shit. Well, North Scarin just blast planted Vistachachi into the Baron. Okay, well, like fucking wait for like next. Like I don't know, man. Like it just doesn't feel fucking like it doesn't feel like they're a well-oiled machine. It feels like they're just trying to like figure shit out in game. It feels like it reminds me of when I used to play on Curse, and we would get it like we would always play these long ass games, and it would just come down to like one team fight. It's like, well, we just have no fucking macro. We're just a dog shit fucking team, and then we just have to try to like win by a late game team fight. That doesn't seem like and yeah, we had no fucking coach. Like we were just like 5 players trying to figure it out. That's how it looks to me. When I see Splice, I'm like, yeah, it's just 5 players trying to figure it out. It doesn't like I don't see like coaching when I see that team. Like I don't see like strategy. Like there's teams that I'll watch play and I can feel the coach's like presence. Like I don't know, like for example, when I used to watch CLG, right? You could feel Zix like in the game. It's like, damn, like this guy is smart and he's like a good coach, and you can see what he's taught the players like in the performance of what they're doing. But I don't see that with like Splice players. Like they just seem like it seems like if you traded that coach for another coach, like whatever, like it's the same fucking team. That's how I think.
Wait, there's definitely parts where I do see the coaching. So whenever they play Tristana, they know how to do the Tristana bot, Tristana to top, the Herald, and then the mid, and then the Dragon. Like they know how to do certain rotations.
That's
everyone
easy. That's so easy,
dude.
This is literally like when we talk about
my
this
solo
team,
queue players can do that.
When we talk about this team, I'm literally sitting here going like, are we talking about Cody Sun on Immortals or Cody Sun? Like this literally got into the finals twice, once with Immortals and once with like 100 Thieves, when teams would play either Tristana or to 70 minutes, right? It's literally like exactly the same where you're like, okay, who's the coach again? Like, what are they doing? I know it doesn't matter. Like we don't feel them in the game at all. It's this player that they have to play around because they're flawed.
Oh my god, coaching is not like this.
What do you mean coaching is not like this?
No, it's exactly like this, Loco. When you have good players and they're not playing well, it's the coach's fault.
Like when you're like on a shitty team with like a shitty roster, like coaching is just like holy fuck, like there's water everywhere, and like you're trying to like not drown, and like other people are like fucking taking band-aids and like they're fixing their boat, like where your boat is like full of water, and you're like, we're not gonna fucking drown, guys. We're not gonna fucking drown. Like,
but I don't feel like that's Splice. Like, I don't feel like that's the team that they have. I don't think that those players are just fucking terrible, like, trying to like get them.
I think they're very flawed players. I think no one on Splice is actually like so complete, and I look at a player and like, damn, this player's good. Maybe Humanoid is getting to that point, but like all their best players have like flaws with them. Then like Zerze, the Kabe.
What's Xerxes' like major flaw?
There was times where he would just fucking farm all the fucking time.
Yeah, just like sometimes he's not aggressive enough early game. That's what I would say too. But like, I don't think he's like, I think he's actually pretty good. Like, I've always been pretty high on Xerxes. I like the way that he like
his summer's been
plays
better
the
than
game.
his spring. His summer's better than his spring for sure.
So bringing it back in, does Rogue beat TSM?
No, that's no.
8 out of 10. 8 out of 10. Like, like 6 out of 4, I would still be like, I don't know about that. Like 6 out of 4, like, or yeah, 6 out of 10 games, I would still be like 6 and 4. I don't even know if they could do that. But 8 out of 10, that's like, bro, I don't even know. Like 8 out of 10, that's so fucking much.
That's
like,
so much. Like when you take like the first 10 games that TSM played this split, I think they beat Cloud9, and we'll throw in that they beat Fnatic too, right? In their first 10 games, because they did take a game off them at Rift Rivals. You know, granted, how much that's fucking worth, but you're still saying like,
holy
that
shit, the chat
they're
is so
at that
fucking
level.
stupid. Like, how can these people actually think in your chat that it's 8 out of 10? Like 8 out of 10. Like, people just, I mean, I guess
look at the hours. Look at the hours. The EU Prime hours.
Just these people just like having cards, so they don't understand like beating a team 8 out of 10 times like actually means. Like, fuck, like when Cloud9 was the best team in LCS, like they beat us 8 out of 10 times when they were like super dominant against us, where it wasn't even like, to beat a team 8 out of 10 times, you have to be so much better than them.
Yep.
TSM beat CLG over the last 3 years. I think that's probably 8 out of 10 times.
So much better. It's not even like there's no teams in LCS that only have 2 wins. You know, like no one was like was there any LCS team that was 2-8 this season?
No, Echo Fox. Oh, Echo Fox was 2-8 before their win against Cloud9.
Yeah,
like, and that's versus everyone. And then if you play like a top, like some team that's supposed to be at the top of the league, and like also like one thing that I don't think that these people are even considering is like TSM was like going back between like junglers, like especially like TSM now they've decided on a jungler and they have like their fucking squad together. You think Rogue is beating them 8? No, hell no. The fuck is it? Like, Jesus Christ. Like, it's
I'm telling
Rogue.
you, I respect Duke, but it's EU fucking coaches and EU players. Like, this is the best fucking time.
They just love being smug. Like, that's what it is.
It's the team you can shit on right now because they're struggling. They're supposed to be the top tier NA team. Like, I'm sure everyone's like a little jealous. There's a little bit of jealousy. There's a little bit of hate in there whenever they're saying.
I mean, okay, so let's yeah, of course. Like, this guy he's just never coached any notable team. This is the best opportunity he's ever gotten in his life. So he's just trying to like make a name for himself. I think he's probably trying to boost his social media or something like that. But like realistically, if you look at like the thought that he's trying to say, okay, let's say TSM versus C9, right? We just watched TSM versus C9. If you watch C9 play, would you be like, oh, I think C9 could beat TSM 7 out of 10 games? Could you even say that for C9 versus TSM? So then you're saying that Rogue is like significantly better than C9. Like it just doesn't make sense. Like contextual, like if you look at the games, it just doesn't make sense. Like Rogue had one good game versus Origin in like 2 splits. like they're 3 and 5 in the LEC. This is not like a fucking great LEC team that it's like, yeah, I mean, maybe if he said something like that about Origin, I'd be like, okay, like that, maybe that's a little iffy. Like, I don't even think Origin would beat TSM 8 out of 10 times. I think maybe they would beat I think Origin is better than TSM, but I think maybe it'd be like they'd win 6 out of 10 games, maybe 7 out of 10 games.
Yeah, like legitimately, it's so hard to do that, to beat them 8 out of 10. And I think that's the thing that people are overlooking here. But I also think he's a little 5-head right now, because we wouldn't be talking about this if he made a reasonable tweet. If he was like, yeah, we probably beat them 6-4. Like if that's a little bit unreasonable still, but it's like not something that you could really argue with too heavily, because it's like, but this is one where it's outlandish. We wouldn't be talking about that tweet unless it was outlandish. So yeah. He fucking served his purpose. We're talking about it, right?
Bro, I don't even know if Rogue would be able to beat like fucking Optic 8 out of 10 games. Like what the fuck? Like it's just so crazy. It's just so crazy. So yeah, I wanted to bring that up. Just like, see what other people's opinions on it are, because when I saw that, it literally just like I was in the fucking hospital and I still had to flame him. That was another tweet. I flamed TF Blade and then I flamed Duke when I was on my fucking hospital bed.
All right.
Oh my god.
Glad that we gassed this guy up, and now everyone knows who this coach for Splice is. Let's take a look at next week's games. I'm gonna pick out 2 games here. This doesn't have too many blockbuster games this week. You got CLG Cloud9 on Sunday, and then something that we talked about a little bit earlier, the playoff push, 100 Thieves against FlyQuest. I want you guys to make picks for those 2 games, both on Sunday. Saturday is kind of boring. There really isn't. I didn't see any big games there for Saturday. But Sunday, CLG Cloud9,
FlyQuest
FlyQuest
100
100
Thieves. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
So wait, we're looking at FlyQuest.
FlyQuest 100 Thieves
100
first.
Thieves.
Because this is the playoff push for either one of those squads. Like, FlyQuest is playing CLG.
The thing is, like, 100 Thieves can kind of lose that game and not be really. I feel like if FlyQuest loses that game, like, because they're 1 game behind, if they lose that game too, I feel like they're so fucked because they have to be like. I think FlyQuest actually has, from what I remember, I think they have decently hard strength of schedule. Not 100% sure on that, but I think I remember them having definitely some super hard games coming up. They played their TL game, so that was one of the hard games. I think they still either have TSM or C9 left, or maybe even both.
Yeah.
Okay, so they have both left.
Both as well.
Yeah, but they're already 1 game behind. So that's what I'm saying. Is like if they let's say both teams lose those 2 games, and then 100 Thieves beats FlyQuest. FlyQuest is just done, right?
And FlyQuest and 100 Thieves has the tiebreaker earlier because 100 Thieves beat FlyQuest early in the season. So this is to even it up, and as we move forward, you'd have that 1 game playoff kind of thing to get in.
100 Thieves are on eggshells right now. Like, they lose like any of the should win games, like they're in such a shitty spot because they play teams like C9, TSM. So it's a must-win game for them. Where FlyQuest, honestly, I don't think is that much in playoff contention. What's their score now?
They're
4
100
wins.
Thieves is 5-7.
5.
They're
5
1
and
game
7.
away.
Oh, I guess they're not. I guess FlyQuest isn't that far away.
Nope.
But still, though, like for FlyQuest, they have the backup. We're gonna get to play Gauntlet anyways. FlyQuest 100 Thief. Okay, here's the thing. FlyQuest doesn't really know how to win games other than Viper popping off. That's what it looks like. Viper is like their savior. Like Viper popping off in team fights on Ribbon has been like one of their core win conditions. And I think 100 Thieves is stupid enough to give them that win condition. Where 100 Thieves win condition is a little bit more varied and a little bit more open-ended.
I mean, I think 100 Thieves is just better at like stalling out a game, and like I feel like if the game is going even, 100 Thieves are not actually that bad right now. Like Ryu will put out damage in team fights. Like he's not gonna lane super hard. Like Ryu never really wins lane, but he doesn't lose lane either. He kind of just sits there and farms, which is exactly what you need. Like he doesn't int the game, and now their ball lane's doing pretty well. I feel like 100 Thieves is probably like, if I had to guess, I would say 100 Thieves like is gonna win, but I wouldn't say by like a lot. Like I'd say it's like a 55-45 type matchup.
Yeah, especially since I think the points of power for FlyQuest kind of go opposite, where they will play through top lane, like they'll play through Viper, and Santorin will match up against Amazing pretty well. And then right now, 100 Thieves are like trying to play through bot lane as much as they can. So I think they're kind of mismatched there. But Viper definitely has like mega carry potential if he's on the right champions. So I give that kind of same like 45-55.
Who do you think is gonna win? You think FlyQuest?
I think
FlyQuest?
I think that I think FlyQuest, I give them the slight edge personally.
Really? What the fuck?
I just think in the matchup. I think in the matchup in particular, I think they have the 5% edge.
Wow. I think
100 Thieves are a better team, but I think that FlyQuest have the edge just head to head.
it's just a head-to-head match. Okay.
Yeah.
All right,
man.
moving on over to our other game, CLG Cloud9. CLG obviously on the skid, 2-game loss. Cloud9 with the win that maybe they didn't deserve, but they got it anyways through solid engages from Sven, and then outscaling Kumo and brother Sven on the other side, giving it away. This is a game here where CLG, if they want the bye, and they, last week, it was just last week when we anointed them.
They're not getting a bye. They're not getting
we
a bye.
anointed them. They're here. They've got to prove it against Cloud9, and that would help with their tiebreaker situation as well. They're 0-1 to Cloud9. Can they do it? Dom, go ahead. You already kind of explain. Just explain yourself.
I just don't think that they're a solid team. I think the Golden that they played, that was like the game where I was kind of like deciding like, is this actually like a good team, or is this just going to be like just one of those teams that it's like kind of like FlyQuest level for last split, where they're like better than all the other teams, but they're not actually good. I feel like that's where CLG is. Like they don't look clean. I think there's almost zero chance they get a buy. I think the buys are going to go to Cloud9, TL, maybe TSM gets a buy, but like I think that CLG is just not on the level of the top 3 teams realistically, and I just don't expect them to like be able to perform when it matters as well. Like I think that they're kind of like lucky to be in the situation they're in. I think they should be happy getting to playoffs. Maybe if they're lucky, they make semifinals. That's it. I think that's the ceiling of that team.
Damn. The Golden Guardians game did a number on me too, because it was Froggen on Lissandra with FBI Huhi. I was like, damn, this is not a game you guys should lose. Like, I feel like Golden Guardians drafted themselves into a corner, and you guys should really fucking take this. And when they lost that one, I was like, holy fucking shit.
It was Lissandra against LeBlanc. Like, he was just counterpicking, like,
yeah.
But it's still Froggen on Lissandra. Like, that just makes that team so much worse. And they had a lead too.
Yeah. And I didn't think that it was like a good Lissandra performance.
Contracts.
Really. And Contracts playing like butt.
That's the one that did it for me, is that Contracts was like running it down and they weren't able to take advantage of that.
I feel like Contracts just goes into games. He's like, I want to be a Korean. Like, that's like how he like, he's like, I'm just going to so fucking much. Like, they're going to think that I'm going to like farm this camp. No, I'm not farming that camp. I'm just ganking. He's like level 2 at like 14 minutes into the game. He's like, oh, but I ganked a lot, bro. Like, I've been all over the fucking map. I don't know. He makes me so like nervous to play, because I feel like versus a really fucking good jungler. Like, and this is kind of why I was disappointed in Wiggly, and why like I rate him lower than Akkadian for like just seeing this game. I feel like you do that where you're just like perma-ganking and you're dying on your ganks and you're not farming. The other junglers should just be so fucking far ahead of you. You shouldn't be able to just like farm your way back to 6. Like, it should be like a real fucking struggle to get there. In games like this, especially when you're things like LeBlanc, Jarvan, like that shit could fucking kill you. If you get that far behind and you're level 4 at 7 minutes 30 seconds, it's really rough. So I don't know. I just think that in general, like, the way that he plays just is so flawed. Like, as a jungler, you can't be that inefficient. Like, ganking is obviously really good. If you're able to take creative paths and you miss camps and you're getting like pressure off it, that's one thing. But only ganking and just ignoring your camps, you just can't do that. I feel like.
Yeah, you only do that in solo queue if you're laners. Like, you're like, these guys are gonna int if I don't go to all 3 lanes. Like, that's the only time that I think it's like okay to do that. Because like you go gank top and you're like screwing bottom over and they'll complain. So like that's the only time I think it's okay. But in this game, this actually made me think about CLG and Ruin a little bit more, because he did literally nothing in the early parts of the game. Like, he's sitting there, his team is doing well. He's 0-0-0 on Kennen. He's like, nobody's playing with him or anything like that. And then in the later parts of the game, they finally incorporate him in and he starts popping off. But then they aren't able to transition that into anything after that. Like, they aren't able to use Ruin.
The main reason, like, I think that this is a big problem with that game for CLG, is they were so far ahead. Like, I think there was Ruin was 5-0, and what he did with his fucking lead was just like, it was just solo queue. It's like building a soul stealer. So instead of going Zyra, so he went Proto Belt, and then after Proto, or maybe he went Gunblade, whatever. So he went his Hextech item, and then after his Hextech item, he went Spellbinder instead of Zanya's, which I thought was like crazy. I'm like, really, dude? You actually went a Spellbinder here, and then he just didn't have the threat that a 5-0 Kennen should have. Like, he wasn't able to actually get into the backline and flash ult.
Yeah. I just thought he wasn't able to play with the team at all, and I don't know if it's them playing around him or him playing around them. I'd need to see more, but that was the first game where I was like, because Ruin, it was always for CLG. They're doing well because they don't have Darshan, right? And that they aren't able, like, he's not losing them the game or anything, and Ruin is just not affecting the game state at all. But this is one where they needed him to affect the game, and they couldn't find a way to either get him in, or he wasn't finding a way to get in himself. So I thought that was a big issue, because when you start playing against teams that in the playoffs, like over a best of 5 series, if they recognize that and they have like Impact or Broken Blade, like they'll just start ganking that lane. They'll just start putting you behind, or they'll say that's an irrelevant lane, give them a winning matchup, and say Ruin's not going to do anything with this, even if he gets the head. So,
I mean, I guess it would match up fine into TL though, because TL like never ganks top, no matter what.
That I think that's fine. Yeah,
they match up similarly to TL, like in terms of how they play, but I think TL would just destroy them if you don't have like kind of an edge on them. Like their bot lane and how they do wave control is the best in the league.
Because like at least Impact knows how to get into fights. Like that's one of his biggest strengths, right? It's like Ruin is Impact, but
Ruin is poor man's Impact.
Yeah, he has no idea. He's like Impact. Sorry, he's like Imp because he doesn't have the other half of Impact. He's like not doing anything at the halfway point of the game with what he gets. Whereas Impact is like, okay, this is what I do with it. This is how I contribute to the game. And Ruin, people forget that Ruin is literally on this team. And that game I did too.
Wait, is this actually a thing? People are spamming it in chat. Did ESPN actually rank Splice higher than TL?
Just don't think about ESPN. ESPN rankings are absolute fucking garbage.
Oh, okay. I mean, I just like can't imagine. Like, do you guys think that Splice is better than TL? I feel like it's not even close.
No, it's not even close.
I think ESPN rankings are fucking garbage. Like, who's your game analyst for League of Legends? Like, it's like what, Tyler, Theon on Fire, Emily Rand, or like who, Jacob Wolf? Like, I wouldn't put too much weight in that.
I just can't even imagine. Like, even if it was like some, I feel like not do that. Like that just sounds like such bad rank. Holy fuck.
And just to close that matchup up, Licorice is healthy and should get the start. If he doesn't get the start, it's not a health thing. His wrist issues should be good to go. So, all right, that's all the league stuff. I think we should save a little bit time because Irene got to go on Twitch Rivals and talk some teamfight tactics. Ranked just came out.
The game that Riot actually cares about. Let's go.
Yeah, I know. When they said the patch notes, Teamfight Tactics 9 point whatever, I was like, oh, this is a joke. They're actually gonna, talk about League, and they did not. So I was like, oh shit.
Oh wait. Random weird conundrum. Technically, both games are League of Legends. One is just Summoner's Rift game mode, and the other one is Teamfight Tactics.
That's
right?
Fair. That's fair.
So one of them is Summoner's Rift, and the other one is Teamfight Tactics.
Wow.
If we're being really
one of them is a Dota ripoff, and the other one is a Dota auto chess ripoff.
Exactly.
Dota did it first.
Jesus.
League did it better.
Apparently.
What did you see? What did you see from that first week of, or the first day of Rift Rivals? Obviously, the show is on now, or is going to be on in just a bit here for the finals.
It's on right now. But I think legitimately it showed that. I know there were some issues with League simultaneously, but like there is a big interest in this, and it's bringing outside streamers into. So there's a lot of traction here, and it's almost like League of Legends is cannibalizing its own audience here, which I don't think that's a good thing. It might bring in other people, but ultimately, I don't know if the numbers like really even out, or if people will get bored of this and then just be like not going back to regular Summoner's Rift afterwards. Kind of like with Earth, right? It's almost like a burnout thing. So from like a game perspective, I feel like TFT, it's yet to be seen if it's going to be an overall positive thing in the long run, or if it's going to divide the audience and kind of exhaust them in a sense. But what I've seen is really fucking attentive development process for this. Like the way that they patch shit is like, they're like, oh, something's wrong. Here we go. Like literally they released a patch that morning, and then they did a micro patch immediately after for something they missed. And I'm just like, they're literally able to just snap things into the game so quickly, and they're willing to do that and have this kind of, I know it was like a 3-week patch cycle this time, but the PvE was constantly being updated. Gunslingers just got like changed right at the end. The Elise got changed right at the end. Like I played on PvE 2 days before. Everything was fucking so different than the day it was released. It's crazy how quick they are to just change things, because the developers on this seem to really care that the game is good and the game is balanced. Because if something is released and it's just overwhelmingly popular, people will stop playing because it's fucking stale. And they have to keep the game interesting. So they're constantly going to mess around with stuff. This game will never have a balance to it. It will never be balanced. It'll constantly be in a state of unbalanced, but it will constantly rotate through those states, and everybody will get their turn to be strong, because they need people to like experience shapeshifters being strong, sorcerers being strong, and like allow you to play everything instead of stick to just one thing forever, because you're going to quit the game because that's fucking stale. So that's what I see, is that people are going to be very, if something is strong, they will smack it down within 2 weeks. Like if locket stacking is strong right now, they're going to smack it down again. right? They're going to be very attentive with this stuff. And for me, it's a little sad because League of Legends didn't really have that almost ever. They had like 4-week patch cycles because it was like, wait 2 weeks, we release something, wait 2 weeks to watch it. Okay, it finally hit pro play. Okay, it's OP in pro play. Okay, so 2 weeks more, and now it's finally out. So things didn't get patched for like a month. Like Zoe release, it was like, Zoe's released. She's really fucking strong. 2 weeks later, it's like, well, let's wait for pro play. Goes to pro play, it's like, oh, it's terrorizing pro play. So then it gets patched 2 weeks later for solo queue, which means pro play has it for 4 weeks before anything gets changed. So I think that League of Legends balance, they rely a lot on watching pro play and being like, what's fucking strong? And with TFT, they just look at trends and be like, okay, is this fun? Is this not fun? Is this a predominant strategy? Even if something in ranked gets strong, it'll be like it'll be influential, but like there's no pro scene for them to have to pull from. And I think that's a big crutch that League of Legends designers or Summoner's Rift designers lean on, is waiting for pro play to indicate to them if something is strong or not.
I don't know. I think I'm just going to say one point. I just feel like Riot has literally abandoned Summoner's Rift to work on TFT. It seems like they just put so much more attention into TFT right now. Like there's so many like obvious bugs in League that just got like you saw this 9.14 patch. It literally just looked like they didn't give a fuck about
it. It was
like,
unplayable, dude. Literally unplayable.
Yeah, it's so insane. Like that they actually just like let this go through. Yasuo's wind wall has been bugged for fucking like a month now. Like it's just fucking fix it maybe, or like disable the like something. Like I don't know, it's so weird. Like yeah, I mean I feel like it shouldn't be bugged for a month. Like I guess I don't know, man. I feel like League is like actually see they're not gonna care. So the people that they're fucking over the most are the League streamers. I feel like because instead of having like League streamers maintain their viewership, the Hearthstone streamers are the ones that get League viewership now. So it's not like the top streamers. It's not like, oh shit, Mo's playing Teamfight Tactics. Well, he's gonna have like 30,000 viewers, and like half who's gonna have less. It's just they literally were like, fuck all of our League content creators. We just want like to just give it all to Hearthstone, right? So I don't think that they're gonna care immediately because they're only fucking over their streamers, and they've never given about the streamers like ever really. I mean, this is the first time where they've had like League partner program or anything, but. I mean, like you can just tell that in general, Riot just doesn't care about their streamers as much as like other game companies. So, for example, like like Epic, for example, right? Like Fortnite, they cared way more about their streamers than League does, because League doesn't view the streamers as valuable. But what they're gonna hate is when the League streamers all die, which is what's happening right now, and no one is watching their game. The LCS viewership is also gonna go down, and then they're gonna actually fucking like lose money. So, I think that long run, this is really bad for League of Legends, like as a whole.
So I kind of want to talk about cannibalization of viewership and cannibalizing your own product and the kind of problems that comes with it, and also kind of good examples of where it's been done. So if you guys go back, I guess we're all the same age, so we actually would know. If you guys go back like 10 years ago, everyone had iPods. Like literally every single fucking person in the world had iPods. What killed iPods? iPhones killed iPods. So Apple made a product that would cannibalize their own product because they saw a shift coming, and they saw the future where this device is worthless and it's going to shift to other things. And I do think League, I always believe League as like a forever game. And even without TFT, like it's definitely TFT is going to make League's lifespan shorter, but I'm not sure what the future of League would have been. Like League was going downhill. And like even with like all the bugs that we're talking about, let's say like the bugs weren't there, like this season's been absolute fucking shit, and people are getting bored of League, and like League's just been stressful, and like the stress of playing with teammates. So I'm not sure what the future of League would have been, and if Riot didn't capitalize on this auto chest craze, some other game would have, or some other company would have, and cannibalize their viewership anyways. At least it's still going to Riot.
I don't think that it would have. I don't feel like auto chess was ever taking League viewership though. Personally, like I think that the only reason why it's cannibal Riot made product. I don't think there's enough similarities between auto chess and League of Legends that there would have been like this big of like I don't think if
they would have worried about losing their viewership because League and Dota or League and auto chess are the same. But
let's say Dota
made it start cannibalizing itself, right?
Yeah, that's at least how I see it. Like I don't think that this is I think that Riot cannibalize their own audience instead of like auto chess was just like so powerful that like the league players wanted it so bad or something.
Don't you think there would have been a gradual shift from League streamers that were like so fed up with League into trying like the auto chess or like the Dota auto chesses and getting more into it?
Doesn't that happen?
I don't think so because that just isn't like a huge. I think there's some like maybe Wings of Death, Skara, like the people that like those types of games maybe, but in general it seems like League players, like League streamers at least, care more about like fast paced, like exciting games more than like card games, right? Because auto chess is essentially a card game. It's like that genre.
But this is also like I actually think that the point of Riot Games doesn't care as much about their League of Legends streamers right now, I think is 100% true. Like I think it's 100% true. I think they care more about grabbing other streamers. They grab the Hearthstone streamers. They're trying to grab everybody else's streamers, and they're giving them priority on things right now over even just people in like LPP or something. They're giving them priority and saying, we want XQC to get into the PBE fucking immediately, right? We want all these guys to be able to get in and get their audiences because you already have the League of Legends streamers viewers. You already have that fan base. You already have that audience. Grab the Disguised Toast. Grab all these other dudes who have different audiences and pull them in. Grab fucking Lyric, who's in the Twitch Rivals tournament, right? That's what it's all about. Is you aren't trying to like you're cannibalizing your audience, yes, but you're also just devouring everybody else's too simultaneously. You are just being a fucking glutton right now for Twitch viewership, and you're just trying to get everybody in there. And at the end of it, whenever the dust is settled, I think they'll come out on top of other games because those streamers will convert over.
Yeah. No, I think it's smart. I think it's smart. Like, especially given the Riot, like not the Riot model where they've never cared about like League streamers. Like they're always just like, yeah, our game's so fucking good, you have to stream it. Like they were never like, oh shit, like let's like make these streamers bigger. I think the only time where I saw them do that was in like season 1 where they would do like streamer whatever, like
season 1, that's like 10
or
years ago.
Yeah, season 2, I guess it was when they did like streamer like show. I forget what those was a call for. It was like a streamer showcase. No, streamer showcase. That was what it was called.
Streamer Summoner Showcase?
No, it was called streamer showcase. Yeah. And what they would do is they would like embed a League streamer like into the client, and then like everyone would go watch them or whatever, and then like the one streamer that would normally average like 1,000 views would get like 10,000 views. They would try to do this with like positive streamers like Void Boy, like Skara, like people like that, right? So that was when I saw them doing interest, and then they never did anything else after that. Like I don't think they have any interest in actually promoting and helping League streamers. I think that they kind of like they already got what they wanted out of the League streamers, right? League streamers already made their game popular. Like, originally, I think that was one of the biggest driving components behind League getting so big was like all the original people that started like streaming it, like the Odd One and Dyrus and all those guys, like because they would scrim and then they would like stream their scrims even at that time, and people would just watch their scrim, and they were just like able to watch these guys nonstop. And like since they already got that by default, like it's a smart business move. Like they shouldn't actually like care about us at all. So
we loyal.
Yeah, we're gonna stream anyway. Like right now, League viewership, TF Blade, biggest English speaking streamer, 4.2k, Shifter, second biggest, 3.6k, Cutie, third biggest, 3k. Like those are the 3 biggest streamers in the section. And like these would all be like 10k viewer streams on a day like this last year, right? Like this was times where like I would be pulling like 10k, and like now I'm 3-4. Like that's just what it is. Like everyone just has to kind of like readjust and just understand that like that is the direction Riot is taking it. And I think it was really obvious. Riot didn't even give League streamers any advantage on team fight tactics over like people that weren't loyal to their game. Like it wasn't like LPP, like we heard about it first and we're like, all right, everyone prepare, everyone like start playing auto chess, like get good at it. Like there was nothing. It was just like, oh, new game. Oh, looks like all your viewers are gone, guys. Rip. Like they don't give a fuck.
Mm-hmm.
Yikes.
Yep. I know people who are in LPP who didn't get a whitelisted PBE account.
Mm-hmm.
And they asked for it and they didn't get a whitelisted PBE account. And streamers of similar sizes that didn't stream League of Legends were given one.
Yikes.
Yep. For that pretty much exact reason.
Oh.
Like that's what it is.
Because the person's going to stream your game anyway, right? Also, it's like what do I get out of giving somebody who already streams League a like priority, right? What are they giving
loyalty?
me?
Like fucking like you. What is it? don't take me for granted. You think I'm important to your community.
Are you really gonna
You
move
think
to
I'm
an
contributing? You think I'm contributing, and you're fucking rewarding me for the loyalty I've shown your game. And
Are you
the
are you
amount
really
of
gonna
time.
move to a different game because you've made your career and viewer base off of this?
No, but I'm
I
gonna have a
think-
negative viewpoint of you if you're gonna
It's a-
treat other people better. if I'm
I'll
showing
treat you
loyalty.
decently.
Yep, that's
I'll
exactly
give you
what
some
it is.
skin coats. I'll give you skin
That's
coats.
what Loco just said is literally what it is, and
What
that's
is
what companies embrace that Riot doesn't, which is that if they do treat their streamers better, it'll create a better environment around their game. Remember when Fortnite was popping off? You go to all like the big streamers at that time, and it's like Ninja's like, oh, Fortnite is fucking great. You go to any streamer like Cypher, PK, oh, fuck it, I love Fortnite. This game is fucking great because they get like the response, they get the help from the game company. You go to League streamers, everyone just complains about Riot the whole fucking time. Like, and there's just so much negativity around League of Legends, and like, why is that? Maybe it's because the product itself is not fun, but I think mainly it's because like people feel so fucking neglected by Riot, and like you don't like there's no reason you feel like you need to be like nice to Riot. It's not like you feel like Riot is like helping you out, so it's like fuck it, I'm just gonna give my real opinion then.
And I think Zyrene can speak to this too, but a lot of that comes from staying in your own lane when you're at Riot. It's very much like, hey, that sucks. I'm sorry you feel these pain points, and then that's it. That's not my responsibility. I got this job to do, and because it's a highly competitive area and a highly competitive job, I have to be at my best and focus 100% on what I'm doing, or, you know, like as much as I can on what I'm doing. And I don't think that I think that LPP was a good idea, and it's a good process in theory. It's just not being executed fully, as well as the fact that it's very late. And I'm sure some of the things that are being brought up, there's just a lot of red tape and processes that are in place that prevent things from happening quickly.
Well, I just think that it's a smart business move. At the end of the day, it's business. Like, if I can see a direct like growth in something, if I give someone who's not a League streamer with the same audience TFT access early, whereas if somebody is streaming it and I treat them a little bit better, I'm already giving them skin codes and like some other things in the LPP chat. They can take this hit for us because this is fucking great value.
Wait. There isn't like a limited amount of like there isn't like 100 good things that I can do, and I have to pick, and I can only give the League streamers 50, and then I can give the non-League streamers 50, or I give the non-League streamers 80, and then I give the League streamers 20. Like they're like whitelisted accounts aren't like limited. Like they can make them. Like they can fucking print these accounts like anytime they want.
They are limited. They are limited.
In what sense? In limited in sense, yes. If everyone had whitelisted accounts, then yes, then no account is really truly whitelisted. But the amount of streamers are so limited. Like I think it's bullshit to say like you have to prioritize, because you can just give that treatment to everyone. Like they weren't limited in the amount of like good things they could do for streamers.
It's not just streamers, it's content creators all around the world, because the PvE is global, right?
Yeah.
So it's like you want to hit people all around the world. So like people in China are going to get like PvE access and stuff like that. So there's only X amount of whitelisted accounts like per region, basically, that were given out. And it had to be like a finite number, and they did it in like waves, because it was like, okay, how many people still need it? Okay, like how many like are there, and can we meet that demand? Because the PvE was just the stress on it was just, it was not ready for it.
I definitely think they could have been inclusive of everyone without giving special treatment to the like. Should Kriparian, Disguised Toast, like all these people that are really like have insane viewership and can bring new viewers into League, get those accounts? Fuck yes, they should. But everyone in LPP at the very least should have gotten one.
Yep,
I think it's ridiculous that everyone in LPP didn't.
All right.
Or just make LPP less exclusive, like, or make LPP more exclusive. If that's like, if you want, like, either treat everyone who's an LPP as valuable, or make LPP less people so you can actually like treat, because like the big content creators got accounts, right? Got PvE whitelisted accounts.
Yes.
The people that they actually wanted to stream, but like the people that are like 100, 200 viewer streamers, like, if you're gonna say that we're all equals in LPP, like, yeah, then you have to do something to like show that, or it's just bullshit.
All right, that was a hell of a week here. We should wait till Thursday every time, man. Everyone was riled up. It's close enough to the next week where we can talk about next week. But yeah, heck of a show. I think that's going to close it here for us. Facecheck week 6 in the books, week 7. Back on Monday. Hopefully Dom doesn't eat something bad or watch too much NALCS, or I guess regular LCS after that. He doesn't get sick. But we'll catch you guys next time. Thanks.